Hello and welcome back to E3 2015. I'm James Jarvis for GamesRadar and I am joined by Matt Pellet from Official PlayStation Magazine.
Hello.
Hello Matt. Matt, you have just been to see Horizon Zero Dawn, Sony's new IP from Guerrilla, the developers of Killzone.
Yep.
Lots of sort of robot dinosaurs.
Lots of robot dinosaurs. Yeah, it's set 1,000 years after the fall of civilization. Humans are back, only as tribes. They're trying to get a foothold again in the world. You've got a bow, and the reasons aren't very clear, and they're deliberately not talking about story. But you're hunting certain creatures for materials. In the demo that we saw at the Sony conference, and again in the demo that I just saw, like, it doesn't seem that you're actually happy about hunting these things. Like, in fact, you apologise when you kill this. It's called a Watcher. It looks a bit like a Velociraptor, and you have to kill it so that it doesn't give up the game and scare away the other robo dinosaurs, effectively, that you're hunting. And she seems really apologetic, a bit like Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider remake when she kills that deer.
Yeah.
And yeah, massive open RPG, that's the key thing. It's an action RPG with a lot of the RPG elements that you like: hunting, crafting, like picking up every single bit of thing, like material that glints.
And leveling, I guess?
Yes, yeah. It was halfway between level 12 and 13 that we saw. Didn't go too in depth about the RPG mechanics. Focus more on the world and indeed some of the enemies that you're going to be fighting against.
So we've seen the enemies from the demo and a bit of the world. Did you get a sense of what else we can do apart from hunt robot dinosaurs?
So, I mean, they showed us some concept art, so there are going to be cities that you can visit and trade. There are world economies, so it's not just you out in the wilderness hunting things. It seems like there'll be I don't know if they're conversation trees, but that's the assumption that you would want to make if it's an RPG. That's a stretch, like that's not confirmed yet. But they just focus on the combat and some things that you can do. They showed us some different options that they didn't go into at the Sony stage. You can get like explosive tripwires, basically block off a path by hitting them on trees and rocks, and then scaring like this big herd of like essentially robotic stag to run through it, so you can then harvest them for parts, at which point the giant hulking TRex type creature comes up, and that's huge. Like they were explaining, it's 550,000 polygons big. It's got like 93 different panels on its body. How big is that
in real terms?
It's massive, right?
Okay.
It's got 93 different panels, each with its own individual HP that you can shoot off. It's got different states that if you shoot off certain parts, its behaviour will change, and you can do damage, obviously, just through shooting it. But there are certain bits that you should be focusing on. So its armour has like holes in certain places. You can attack the soft tissue for 3 times damage. But it also has 2 key cores, and if you focus on those cores, there's one in its side and one just above its brain plate on its head. If you knock off the armour and shoot its cores, then you can take it down really quick.
Like a Shadow of the Colossus style?
Yeah, very much so. It's funny actually, because when the fight starts, when it runs up to you, it's actually only got half health, and if you look, it's got a spear already sticking out from its head. So it's been in a fight before, and it's nowhere near as powerful as it will be if you encounter it when it's fresh.
So I guess that hints at maybe if you attack an enemy and then go away from it, it keeps its state, like its health state. And
yeah, definitely. Like the suggestion at the start of the demo was that the robot stag that you're hunting, that you've been hunting it for a while, that you'd actually tracked it to that environment. So it's not just you go somewhere, you kill some things, and you bugger off with some materials. You're actually going to be following these things through the world and trying to get to the right place to be able to mount an assault.
Okay, and so finally, I guess they're not going to have said anything about it, but the thing with RPGs these days are they want them to have a multiplayer element. Do you think you can see meeting up with other tribes that are player controlled and that kind of stuff? Is it big enough for that?
They were very clear out the gate that it's a single player RPG.
Right. Well, I think shut me up then.
You know what? The world would be conducive to that, but yeah, they absolutely tried to shut that down straight away. So maybe they're pulling a fast one on us, but they said it's single player, and you know what? I like my single player game, so I have no problem with that whatsoever.
All right, well, that's Horizon Zero Dawn. Don't forget to keep it on the channel for all of the coverage from E3 2015 as we get it.